AITA for telling my husband to be honest with his family about his name before he forces a name on our son that none of us want him to have? Am I the asshole? sad_experience_6435. Greater than and then legally changed his name after graduation to Sonny and a middle name he chose for himself. Tell him that you will not name your child a name he was so desperate to get rid of that he secretly changed it legally. Tell him that he might have a point if he legally changed his name back to Andrew George, but even if he did, you had an agreement. If he persists or tries to force you to name your son something neither of you wants, you will tell them it's not happening because your husband hates it so much he changed his own name. This is a hill worth dying on. He wants you to give your son a name he himself hates because he can't bear you have an uncomfortable conversation. That is all kinds of messed up. Written 7471. 7887. NTA. I think it says everything you need to know that he changed his own name and still hasn't told his parents. That is a super high level of avoidance. Like, what happens if God forbid something happened to the two of you and his parents get notified of Sonny, whatever, and they're like, we don't know that person. If he didn't do it for himself, he won't do it for his kid. You literally said he's afraid. Which is concerning. What is he afraid of? And he didn't want the name but will foist it onto your kid? Spare article 396. 757. NTA. He didn't like being stuck with the name himself, but wants you to do the same with your son, just so he can avoid an awkward conversation. He agreed that you wouldn't have to use the name. He needs to tell his parents. He needs to do this one thing for you and his son. Royally Oki. 2581. NTA. Call him Andrew George every time you speak to him. I bet he doesn't like it. How can he even think about giving his son a name that he hates so much that he himself legally changed it? Superb apple pie. 1317. So his family will give you grief over naming your child something else? And your husband wants to appease these awes at the expense of you and of his own child? He needs to grow some backbone ASAP if he wants to be a father. NTA. Thump my poncho. 233. This is one of the dumbest traditions, and the man didn't want that name himself. He has to grow a pair and stand up to this dumbness. And if the family can't handle it or sees it as disrespect, screw M. Okayish_elderberry. 1592. NTA. And when you give birth, make sure the hospital staff know not to allow your husband to fill out the paperwork. Wayward Marauder. 16217. AITA for letting my niece go hungry by not stopping for fast food on a longish drive. Am I the asshole? Description OK 8217. NTA. You told the kid what would happen if she didn't eat. She didn't eat. And you what said would happen. Happened. She is old enough to understand consequences. Since your sister wants to complain, let her know you are sorry that your niece feels that way. And to avoid these type of things in the future, you will no longer pick her up or babysit. Don't ask me chit. 1876. NTA. No one has starved in 2 hours. If she was genuinely hungry she would have eaten at the picnic. Mother should have a gentle conversation with her daughter about being using manners when someone has prepared food for you. It's fine to decline to eat it, but she shouldn't be calling it gross. Fast food shouldn't be an expectation or a default choice either. Disclaimer: I was a fussy eater as a child who was indulged far too much. Maud Baggins. 8905. NTA. Your niece thought she could manipulate you into buying her fast food by complaining because her mom caves to that nonsense. That's where she learned how to do this. Her mom. Hopefully your sister does better is teaching your niece you can't get what you want by throwing a hissy fit. By your sister's reaction, That's not going to happen. It's unfortunate that your sister is being a bad parent. But Pickles 99. 1137. NTA. You didn't let her go hungry. She let herself go hungry by refusing to eat the perfectly reasonable food you provided. Helpmate Rome. 441. 40. NTA. But if you're asked to take her again, tell them this is why you can't. Napalm Axolotl. 302. I am surprised how many friends have kids of 6 to 10 years who demand fast food burgers or chicken nuggets or fries. And shocked at how often my friends jump in the car and go get that unhealthy food for the kids. Sounds like she is one of those. It's called spoiled. Omi 24. 462. The child would have eaten at the picnic if she were really hungry. No one starves in 2 hours. Sounds like she would rather complain about not getting her way than eat. NTA. Slipping into 9. 175. AITA for wanting to share our pregnancy news with my parents. Without my wife. Am I the asshole? Not psychic husband. It sounds like your wife lives in a different country from you right now with her parents. You said go to some ultrasound appointments with her mother. You mean if she didn't tell her parents she'd probably have to go alone? And what if she got bad news? That she lost the baby? Would you be fine with her being alone getting that news? It also sounds when she moves it will likely be a long time until she sees her parents again. Why don't you ask your wife if her and your parents could set up a video call and tell them together? Jess 1804. 1014. YTA having a child is a joint venture and she will be doing all the heavy lifting for the next 9 months. You are acting like she told her parents without you there just to have a special moment to herself, and you know that's not what happened. You know it was done under special circumstances. If you were living there you'd have probably been involved, so don't act like some child getting upset because someone else got something they didn't. Seriously. Why would you want to announce this to your parents without the women you supposedly love and who is actually carrying the child? Quote, the sci-fi guy 80. 5580. This statement tells me that you already know the answer. Greater than when I say it out loud though. I want to announce our pregnancy to my parents without my wife. It sounds wrong. Why? Yes, it does. YTA. Wes Morgan 1. 14,064. YTA. Were you going to fly back to her country to share it together with her parents? She's moving to your country. You can wait and share the joy together. Whereas it was difficult to do that logistically with her parents. This is a good opportunity for you to be selfless. Top personality 1216. 1388. The difference here is also that she's the one who is pregnant. YTA. Poetic_justice 987. 2556. Why on earth would you want to announce it to your parents without the mother of your child there? That just makes absolutely no sense. She's the one carrying the baby. YTA. Asparagus overall 8454. 652. 2. YTA. You want to announce your wife's pregnancy without your wife being there. How would you feel if she wanted to talk about your medical history with her family without you present? Just some human too. 749. AITA for telling my mill to please keep her criticisms to herself. And eventually for kicking her out of lunch? Am I the asshole? Adventurous_ant 1546. NTA. People who shit all over a young child's joy are the ones being assholes and deserve appropriate responses. This was an appropriate response to a killjoy. Would have been nice for your husband to be more supportive of you and his child as well. Review Oak 929. 1580. NTA. Your mill tried to turn a beautiful day into an ugly day. You stopped it. Tell your husband that his daughter's happiness is more important than keeping his mother around to Criticize the entire dream and make her upset. Is that what he thinks is important? His mother can have her opinions but needs to learn that others have opinions too. And don't want to hear constant criticism of yours. I am glad your daughter had her princess day. You did the right thing. Quote, less_ordinary_8516. 511. NTA. But you've uncovered a serious husband problem. Greater than my husband is saying I could have just kept the peace for a couple of hours, but I instead chose to act drastically. Or Mill could more easily kept the peace for a couple of hours by just keeping her mouth shut. Seeing your husband supporting his killjoy mother over his wife and his daughter exposes his ugly side and waves a red flag. Extinct_Diplodocus. 1127. NTA and your husband is 100% wrong. I hate this notion that family being together is more important. No, it is not. In this case, if someone is being rude throughout the meal, you should get them to leave. Why excuse their bad behavior? If Mill was spewing racist comments throughout the meal, no one would be saying, "Oh, just keep the peace." It's more important for family to be together. No, it isn't. Not if you making everyone else uncomfortable. Please show this to your husband. Strapo. 5942. If a 6-year-old needs to learn the value of money, Mill's bad attitude isn't the way to do it. As far as I see it, you didn't cut Mill out of anything. You gave her a choice. Shut up and eat the meal you were paying for and stop crapping on your daughter's enjoyment. Or leave. She made the choice to leave because she refused to STF you and felt she had a right to steal not only your daughter's joy but yours as well. Greater than he said, the family being together is more important than whether someone feels a restaurant is overpriced. XA0 he's right. Which is why he should blame Mill for choosing to leave rather than shutting up. The separation was due to her actions. Family being together is more important than Mill venting her spleen about a meal she was eating for free. This wasn't about her being frugal. Her wallet wasn't the one being open. This was about her feeling the need kill the joy of both her granddaughter and Dill because the outing didn't cater to her tastes. She's the one who chose to walk out and spoil the day even more than she already had. And now she's spinning the story to make herself look like the victim. I can't believe your husband heard how much his daughter was hurt and is still choosing Mill's side. NTA. Flirthaliste. 236. NTA. And does your husband normally have a spine made out of rubber? As a father, shouldn't he be mad too that his child's happiness was shot down so brutally? Makes me wonder how much Op has to compromise on to keep the family together. Glittering_Diamond 49. 185. Does your husband like his daughter? Does he want her to be happy? Does your husband think happiness is free? NTA. Keep her away from your daughter if she is gonna suck the fun out of things. The world is hard enough. A 6-year-old does not need her grandma being mean. Psychological ad 7653. 324. Or